Hello, everyone. This is Michele Bradford, and we are back again for another episode of Real Conversation, Real Motivation. I am so excited to be here today. I will tell you that it was a little bit of a struggle for me to get here, but I am here. And so I just want to introduce you and let you know that this is my podcast that was birthed out of wanting to be a motivational speaker and encourager, but doing stuff a little bit differently and talking about real things that plague us in our life, and think ways that we can motivate ourselves to do better and how we can may have challenges, but we can just continue to kind of overcome these things together. We can talk about them, we can interact together, and so the whole goal of this channel, the whole goal of this podcast is to bring you refreshing topics that provide you with practical motivation, doses of positivity to help you navigate life. Or maybe there's something that I say that you can empathize or sympathize with. Or maybe you're struggling with something in your life and something that I've shared on my channel inspires and motivates, encourages you. So thank you so much for being here today. So give me 1 second and we're going to get started here. But I just went live on Instagram. I want to just tell everybody up on Instagram, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this encouraging podcast. I've had a little bit of a struggle on my platform that I purchased, podcast platform, to broadcast over there. So I'm broadcasting on my phone on Instagram. It's by all means necessary. So thank you all for anyone that comes over on Instagram that listens to this now or hears it later. So we are going to talk about some stuff today. So tell me, um, do you ever heard of somebody having a powerful or spiritual word, a word that they get every year? Um, have you ever done that where you have this word that that comes to you every year for the new year? It's going to inspire, motivate you, and encourage you in some kind of way. Um, I recently saw a guy. He says he's not a motivator, but he's an encourager. He has done TED Talks, and I actually have his book here. Um, Bruce Pulver, and he came to my job and he spoke, and um, a lot of his premise and the things that he believes in, his strengths are his message is very strong, and when I tell you that, it's just very much in line with how what I've adopted in my life, and so I really really enjoyed his TED talk, and also he also gave the first 100 people a book. So let me tell you, I'm going to just promote his book. It's called Above the Chatter, Our Words Matter. I love that. And so, and then on the front of the book, it says he has the word strong going down vertical, and it says, stand tall, remain optimistic, now go for it. So powerful words that change my life forever. So today, I want to talk about how, the power of words. What is your encouraging word for the year? And I'm going to share mine, but I just want you guys to know that, you have to manifest what you believe and what you want. You may not have it right now, but if you just continue to keep speaking on it, it will come. And so having a word, a spiritual word, an encouraging word, or something that is significant in your life is very important. And so I will tell you that I never had a word of the year until 2017. There's a lady that was doing YouTube, pretty spiritual lady, and the first year the word was bold, and so that was 2017. So it's been almost 8 years later. Last year my word was perseverance, and this year I will tell you what my word is, and we're going to talk more about my word for this year. And so let's talk about how important having a word, an encouraging word, means to your life. You know, um, something that is significant. So let's just kind of talk about that a little bit here. So it's a practice of setting intentions. So choosing a word is a powerful way to, focus on your intentions for the year ahead. Um, it's really funny how, like, I've started doing this every year, and I pray about this word. I wait for God to give me the word, and and it comes to me in threes. And so each and every year, I will say that I did not accomplish um the word and set forth in that word all year. Some years when I first started, because just like with anything, you have to keep consistently with it. But I will tell you that as I've gotten more deeper into this, it has become a part of my life. Me, just like me wearing clothes every day, just like me putting on my glasses every day. This word is a part of my life every day. It's like putting on clothes. Sorry about that. My throat was dry. And so it's just like, putting on, clothes. And so now it's a part of my life every day. And so I just want to encourage each and every one of you, whoever is watching right now, if you struggle, with motivation, you don't know how to motivate yourself, you don't know how to encourage yourself, you know, the things that you have to speak on it, you have to speak for it, you have to speak on what you want, you have to encourage yourself. You cannot expect other people to encourage and motivate you all the time. You have to set forth and encourage yourself. So praying about a word, or brainstorming a word, or thinking about what you want, what your intentions are for the new year. We talked about the New Year's resolution. I said resolution, resolutions, and how I don't have one, but the one thing I do have every year is a word. And so let's talk about, you know more about that word. So we're going to explore kind of like the transformation of a powerful word into your yearly practice, and how you're going to, take this word and you're going to work through it, and you're going to find a word that is like deep in your, aspirations, something that is new to you or traditional to you, something that is maybe spiritual, or career wise, or something that is going on in your life that you want to do better or improve on. It's going to help you to set the tone for your intentions for the year. So this word is going to drive you to be more aware, for you to be more conscious, and so that you may have more intention, and to be, just to have something, a single word that is going to encapsulate your intentions by allowing you to be more focused, and put something to put your energy towards. So, you know, um, I can tell you that today, for instance, I struggled with, at 3 o'clock, I looked at my watch and said, oh no, I haven't gotten a topic for today. I don't know what I'm going to talk about on my podcast today. I hadn't put anything together. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I just won't do it today. I don't feel like it anyway. I've been juicing and meal prepping. And then yesterday I've been, cleaning refrigerators, and I'm tired. So I was trying to give myself an out. And then I thought about it. I thought about my word. And my word said, it doesn't matter. Basically, all you got to do is just get up and do it. It'll come to you. So my word for 2025 is inconsistent. Inconsistent. Usually, well, I shouldn't say inconsistent, consistent. So being consistent, not inconsistent. I apologize. I am an inconsistent person, but consistency is my word. And one of the reasons I prayed about, my word a lot more this year is because I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker, to travel the world and to motivate and encourage and inspire people. But I've had a lot of obstacles over the last 8 years. Some things that were out of my control, and other things that were in my control. I wanted to give up, and I didn't. But then I did, and then I didn't. And so it's back and forth. And then, I wanted to birth this podcast, and I kept making excuses of why I couldn't do it. I'll wait and do it later. I'll do this. I don't have a name of the podcast. A lot of different things that were coming up in my head. And I was just like, you know what? And so once I got a little bit more settled, I really prayed and asked God to help me. So my word consistency actually started before 2025, because it was right around the time that I was gonna, that I started this podcast. I had a lot of problems. I didn't know how to work some of the equipment. I was feeling kind of embarrassed. I was feeling kind of nervous because stuff wasn't working out. And that word came to me over and over and over. And even in 2025, when I was praying for a different word, I didn't get a different word. Consistency was still the same word, because I started late in 2025 with this word, but it's very, very powerful word that I've struggled with for a very, very long time. And so I'm being very transparent with you right now, sharing with you about being inconsistent and working towards being more consistent. But, most importantly about this podcast is, if you are here on my live stream, share with me your word for 2025, you know, and tell me when you started doing this. When did you start using different words, finding, praying about words, brainstorming for words every year? When did you start? Mine was 2017. So when did you start doing that? Because I can tell you right now that, it is a very prominent part of who I am as a person. And I will never go back to not having my word. And so being consistent is probably one of the most important things in my life right now that I want to accomplish. I can just feel it. And so doing this podcast, it may not be perfect, but even today when I didn't have a topic, I said, you know what? I got up at like 5 o'clock and I started figuring out what I wanted to say. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, I already know what to say. Talk about the yearly word. What is your power word for this year? What is going to help you to set your intentions this year? What are you going to do to be motivated? Because I'm still on a journey. I haven't made my destination. I'm still traveling. I'm still going up through the valleys, the mountains. I'm still, having landslides and all kinds of things happening, different obstacles that are getting in my way. But I know that I'm traveling on the outside of those things, and I'm not allowing those things to allow me to fail. Now we do have moments where we fall down, but we get up. So the whole most important part is, even if you fall down, even if you break something, an arm, leg, a toe, whatever it is, spiritually, get back up. You may need help. You may need to have somebody to help you. Ask for help. You may need God and praying and going through that. And sometimes you got to be silent and you got to move silently. So you know um, but I want to just talk to you guys a little bit more about what makes a good word of the year. So there's a lot of people that, and I don't know what word would be a good word. So your word of the year can be anything you want it to be. But remember, the beauty of the word of the year is not specific to a goal or a task that you want to accomplish. It's a guiding light that of a path of who you choose to be over that coming year. So this is a guide. You're using this word as a guide through something. Like the word for me is consistency. I'm using that as a guide. That's the reason why I don't have a new word, because I'm still on that journey of this consistency. I haven't accomplished it. I've had a few failures along the way, so I'm still working through that. So it's very important that that you choose a word that can help you navigate and allow you to um, accomplish it even with all the challenges and the distractions of life, you know, uh, there's going to be detours, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be things that happen in your life, and you're going to be doing a zigzag. But the thing is, like I just said, it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. You'll get there. You will get there. So, you make all kinds of goals and stuff, that you're trying to accomplish in the year, but trying to come up with a word that can help guide you through like different priorities and progress towards all of your important goals, that's, that's a good thing. And so if there's some common theme or connection of them, that makes it easy. But sometimes your goals may not align with your guidance. Your guidance word could also be too vague, too specific. And so sometimes you have to even pray a lot more about that word that you've gotten. So I can tell you, on like, for me, it's I use prayer, but also you can reflect on your word from last year. So depending on what words that you had last year, you can reflect on the previous words. So I believe God can guide you in choosing a word. You know, I have never just picked a word. It just, God, I have prayed about it and I've allowed God to move in my life. And so, depending on, if you don't use prayer, reflecting on the previous year or contemplating the year coming, so looking at the direction of what's coming up in the year, thinking about what you want to grow from or heal from in that year. And sometimes things will come to you as you're thinking about those things. If you manifest it and you think about it, it may come to you in your sleep, in your dreams. It may come to you while you're working. And so I think truly, if you manifesting, a word of the year, something that, depending on the theme of what you're trying to accomplish, really like manifesting that, even writing it down in your journal, or finding a song that's related to it, maybe that's it. Some people may use scripture to find a word. Also, choosing your word is likely to stand out to you. Is something that's in a Bible verse, a song, like I said, a prayer. You may write it down. You may think it. Somebody else may say it. You may see it on a billboard or on a bus or on a truck. It can come to you any kind of way. But most importantly, embrace it. Embrace that word. So, as we talk about, you know, the different words, sometimes they can be overwhelming, you know, but that's just because it's so exciting. Sometimes people don't realize what they manifest will come to it, and they kind of like a little fearful about it. But, like I was saying, you can, it's really important that you envision, you take that word and you envision it for yourself. And I want to be consistent in my podcast. I want to be consistent in my life with doing my hobbies. I want to be consistent in posting on social media. I want to be consistent financially. I want to be able to save money. I want to be able to do more things and be more consistent. So financially consistent. There's a lot of ways that I want to be consistent. And the thing is that I'm not allowing myself to be overwhelmed by the word. I'm taking it one thing at a time. And so right now, being consistent with my podcast, this year I told myself I was going to go out more and be more consistent with socializing, because I haven't really been consistent with socializing as much, doing things that I love to do. So being consistent in my hobbies and stuff that I want to do for myself. I've gotten complacent with being in the house because I work from home. And so it's so easy just to stay in my PJs and sit here, but then you get bored, and then you don't feel like you don't have anybody to hang out with. There's nothing to do, but you don't, then you just start like in your own mind, start being sulky and not doing the things that you love to do. So my consistency is social. My consistency is social. It's financial. It's my social media and posting videos and being on my podcast every week. Hey, Tracy and Amber. Tracy said hers is mindful. That's a wonderful word, mindful. Mindful is that's a when you think about mindfulness, I think about I think about meditation, mindful meditation. You know, Mindfulness allows you to what you're thinking is what it is. So being mindful of other people's feelings, being mindful of your feelings and emotion. Um, you know, my job does a mindfulness um, meditation every Tuesday at 8 a.m. And it's basically teaching to give grace. That it's a guided meditation as you close your eyes and the person's talking and you're breathing and she's talking to you about pouring into yourself. And so it's a really great way to present yourself, you know um, and observe your thoughts and your feelings. So um, I love it because I think about that word mindfulness and practicing it at least, several times a week, like intentionally, you know what I mean? So being aware and accepting, those are two things that I can think of for real that as far as mindfulness, awareness and acceptance are huge. To have those abilities, processing, that's what I do for my job. My department is one of the words in my department is process, and experience, life, being present, you know not living in the past, observing, accepting, so I love that word. So another thing is that I sit here and I just talk about, my inconsistencies. I can tell you that many, many, many years ago, fear and failure were the drivers in my life. I sat in a box because I was so afraid to move forward and I was afraid to stand still. And God spoke to me and he came to me and and it was a nudge, but that nudge pushed me into something so uncomfortable, something that was the most uncomfortable thing. And I've had brain surgery, y'all, but it's pushed me into something so uncomfortable that, you know, I just knew I was going to fail. I was in disability. I was in LD class. I was in learning disability class. I barely graduated from high school. I stuttered. My teachers used to try to make us read in front of people. I would stutter. I didn't know. I couldn't understand. I didn't know I had dyslexia at the time. Everybody was going to college, and so I was trying to be like everybody else and went to college and failed out within probably a few months. But I stayed there for a whole semester doing whatever. And so when I tell y'all that I went back to college, when I was 40 and I'm 55 now, that's one of the most scariest things I've ever had to do because I was afraid of failing. I failed in high school, I failed in college several times, and I was afraid again. And so, the thing of it is that I ended up going to college and I ended up doing very well. But, that's one of the things that, I would have to be consistent on. And when I tell you I was the reward that I received of going to college and being obedient to God's word was amazing. And so, sometimes inconsistencies for me can be external pressures, social influence, beliefs and plans. And so I've had to like shut down the chatter because the chatter for me, sometimes it can be, people are fear mongers and they'll say stuff and do stuff and make you think, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that when you were doing it, but all of a sudden you let somebody else's influence. So external pressure can definitely do that. Other things, being overwhelmed. I have OCD. Having a brain disorder, having brain surgery, having a lot of chronic illness. I can tell you that Anxiety and panic attacks and depression were very much a prominent part of my life. I can't say that I'm completely healed from anxiety, but it's called situational anxiety. I've overcome panic attacks and long-term anxiety that's been debilitating my life. There are moments like when people go on stage for the 100th time, they say that they have these nerves. Well, that's anxiety. So there is sometimes good anxiety, but most of the anxiety I had in my life was bad. So when I start feeling that anxiety, usually it's something exciting, something new, something that I'm afraid of. And so, it's not bad. And so I talk to myself and I move past that to so I'm not burnout or I'm not overwhelmed. So stress will definitely keep you from being consistent. If you are stressed out about something, and it's so much easier just to turn a blind eye or cover your head with the blanket so you don't have to deal with it. And so sometimes, stress will cause you to be inconsistent. um, I will tell you one of my major ones is a lack of accountability when it comes to working out and weight loss. I love food. I love sweets. And when I tell you, when I have an episode where I'm having inflammation and a lot of pain, and I feel really bad, food is my comfort. And so I struggle for many years trying to lose weight, and I still struggle every single day. And so trying to be consistent, if I'm going to eat something bad, I have to make it myself. I can't buy it from the store because the store has more chemicals, and at least the stuff that I'm making is more pure and has less ingredients. So, yeah. But anyway, so there's many things that I can tell you about that I'm working on as far as my consistency. You know, um, Sometimes we pour into people so much more the people, and they don't deserve it. So you're put basically paying for something. You're giving the money for something. You're pouring into a bank, and you're not getting poured back into, or you're not getting a withdrawal. And so the thing is that also can cause you to be inconsistent because you're burning on fuels. You're on fumes right now, because you've given so much of yourself and not getting anything in return. And then you start feeling down and out and kind of mad because people, they don't return the same feeling, the same things that you've done to them, the feelings or money or, or empathy or, whatever. Um, so there's a lot of ways that I look at inconsistencies, and I really want to be more consistent. And so, I look at my word, and I just am grateful to envision this thought process and allow it to be prominent, and trust in my intuition. As I narrow down my words for this year. After last year being perseverance, you know, this word is truly like deep in my thought, and it's really inspired me to dig deeper into different layers of the possible meaning of consistency, So there are so many ways that you can indulge in your word of the year. And so, there's a lot of things that you can do. And I'm just going to tell you guys a few things that you can do to kind of keep your word prominent in your face, around you so you don't forget. Because that's one of the things that I had issues with, is that in the beginning, I would get all excited about my word, but by, May or, April or May, the word is gone. I done forgot all about the word. So let's think about ways and creative ways that we can engage with your word, how you can be reminded of your word. And so some people will um, they'll buy some little sticky notes and stick them all over the place. Some people, you could go to the thrift store or to a regular store, Walmart or somewhere, buy you a picture frame and put it and write it in a frame and hang it up in front of your desk, like a wall hanging. You can do a reminder on your phone, like a calendar reminder or an alarm on your phone of your word that is set up for once a week so you don't forget it, and that it reminds you to think about that. So it's a continuous reminder. You can wear a t-shirt or jewelry with your word on it. If that's something that if that word really means a lot to you, you can do that. Um, so like Dave, we already talked about, sticky notes, but definitely a journal. I really love the digital inspiration. So like putting it on your computer wallpaper or your phone wallpaper, um, adding it to your email signature. So every time you send an email to somebody, that word is on your email signature. So that's a really great way to remind you, or putting a task on your work computer where a reminder comes up in your Outlook. Um, you know, I think that's a really great way to remember your word. So the only thing I have left to just kind of share with you guys is choosing a word of the year is simple, it's powerful, it's inviting. It allows you to focus with intention, and it can transform your life. It really can. Every year, I feel like I'm getting more and more stronger in my faith. I'm getting stronger in my thoughts and my love for myself, the self care and self love, and I'm becoming more focused as I have these intentions of these words. So thank you, Miss Kathy. I appreciate you. For putting that in my heart many years ago. And so by selecting a word that is resilient with your aspirations, you can create a compass to guide you through the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, all of the challenges that come your way, the things that may cause you distractions. But, just thinking about this word and, the things that's reflected on like quiet moments of your life, that you're going through different projects, something, this word is inspiring you daily, you know, and so it's important that you choose a word every year. And I'll tell you this: my director asked me, he's like, "What is your word?" I told him, consistency, and he says his is thrive in 2025, and I really like that phrase. That was a really great one, and so I see this man's success. I see his success as far as his job, but even before he was elevated to a director, a higher director in our company, he was my manager when I first met him, and he's a great listener, awesome human being that allowed me to be myself, that I've grown into, not just a work relationship, but a kinship, a spiritual connection, as far as like his beliefs and some of my beliefs. We may not believe the same things, but his energy is really good and it's healing. And so he showed me some what loyalty was. I didn't know what that was, or trusting. I never trust people, and so I feel like I can trust him. And so there's some things that happened in my life, and he had my back. And so when I tell y'all that, having these powerful words in your life, utilizing them, being an active participant in your life, it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful, it's magical, it's amazing. So I just want you to know that it's not too late to pick a word. I know it's February 2nd, but it's not too late. The power of our words, it's never too late. Even though last year my word was perseverance, towards the end of the year it turned into consistency. And when I tell y'all, I've been pushing through. And even when it's not perfect, or when I don't feel it, or when I got up and came in my living room and I turned on the computer, and I didn't know what I was going to speak about. And then here we are. Because you know what? Sometimes you don't need to prepare. Sometimes you just speak from your heart. And this is what I'm doing. I'm speaking from my heart because this is something that I really truly believe in. And I think everybody should choose a word, and it's not too late. If you decide to choose a word and you have come to the end of this live stream, I would love for you to put a rose emoji in the comments and then tell me what your word is. What is your word for 2025? And tell me why you chose it. Did you pray about it? Did it come to you in a dream? Is it something that you chose off the internet? because none of those things are wrong. Everybody finds their words in their own way, and some people have motivational words, and some of them are pronouns and verbs and nouns, and it could be anything in your life that's gonna that is a reflection of you. So it's nothing's wrong. So share with me your word and how you motivate and encourage yourself. So I'm having issues with my voice, so I apologize, but I am going to let you guys go. I really want to thank you all for being here. I really thank you for being a part of this podcast. As we continue to grow over here, the goal is to have people. I want to interview some people and have, talk to them about some things in their life and how they've overcome, but until we get there, we're going to just keep on pushing through. And then also, if you have some topics that you would like for me to discuss or, talk about, please leave them in the comments as well, because I'm very open to talking about anything. So I love you guys. I hope that you have an amazing day. I am going to go to bed now. My throat is a little scratchy today, so and I'm going to go take me some natural, get me some tea and some stuff, and hopefully I start feeling better in the morning. But I just want to thank you all again for supporting Real Conversation, Real Motivation Podcast, and I hope and pray that something I said resonates with you. If it did, if you could please share my podcast with your family, your friends, or your coworkers, I truly appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your evening. God bless you. Take care.